In my recent list of the worst movies of 2020, I have to admit I came across extremely pessimistic about the state of movies this year. They're just kind of boringly bad in the most basic way. I even expressed a little bit of doubt in my ability to build a best list for 2020 when I give my list of the best movies of 2020. Hell, so was I up to the task? Was I able to pull all of my strength together and somehow, some way, put 10 movies in a best list for this year?
Groovy.
Spoiler alert, I also have a couple of honorary mentions. Yeah, as pessimistic as I was in that video, there actually were quite a few movies that came out this year that I was very enthusiastic about how much I enjoyed. Maybe these weren't movies that I'm gonna watch a whole lot, but they're definitely movies that I think had some substance to them, and I would recommend other people checking them out. So without further ado, let's just get straight into the list. Number 10. The Lodge. This is a movie that seems to be very divisive amongst people. I have seen it on a lot of worst lists for the year. Maybe that is because I am a big fan of gothic stories with a slightly religious undertone to them, and this movie definitely provided that for me. It follows a young woman who has recently been taken out of a cult and is now trying to find a way to build a normal life with her new boyfriend. The problem is that the children aren't very accepting of their relationship. And this kind of builds into this whole mystery where you're not sure if what's going on is paranormal, psychological, or quite frankly, abuse. And the way that the movie ends, I found to be extremely chilling. I know that a lot of people thought that it was poorly paced, and maybe that's part of the reason why it's so low on the list, but end of day, I would still recommend checking it out.
Repent your sins.
Number 9. Vampires vs. the Bronx. I thought that it was a very cute, almost simple vampire story in the same vein of something like The Lost Boys, or hell, even Fright Night.
His dinner's in the oven!
But with a more modern lens and with a much more political undertone, with the whole thing taking place in the Bronx. And I really enjoyed seeing vampires represented as overprivileged people coming into this territory to kind of take from these people. Which if you go back in vampires' history, that's basically what they've always been. They are literally the upper class that feeds on the lower class.
Claudia! Now, who will we get to finish your dress?
So all in all, it was a very appropriate use of vampires and a very nostalgic callback to a lot of movies that I love. And for the record, if you're a fan of vampires, make sure to check out my book, Poor Pretty Creature, available for pre-order anywhere that you can get ebooks.
We're gonna need some garlic and some wooden stakes, like right the hell now.
Number 8. Vivarium. This was a movie that I gave a full review to, and when I did, I really didn't know how to think about it. It seems to come across as a lot of style with little substance, but the thing that I like about this movie is its style. It gives a very eerie atmosphere that was very effective and actually chilled me. The performances in this movie are great, the issues that they're trying to discuss are interesting, and I was fascinated by this movie right to the end. So as much as I might not be entirely sure what the movie is trying to say, I would still recommend checking it out and letting me know what you think it's trying to say down in the comments below. Number 7. Color Out of Space. I think this was the first Lovecraft thing that we got this year because we got a lot of Lovecraft this year. I might be wrong, that might actually be Underwater. Either way, Lovecraft, and also Nicolas Cage at his Nicolas Cageiest. But in this situation, it actually works because it follows Nicolas Cage being slowly driven insane basically by alien color.
It wasn't like any color I'd ever seen before.
You know, this color that doesn't exist. I've never seen it before. It's total mystery. What is this? The movie was a slow burn, and because of that I could see why some people might not have the patience for it, but for those who do, it could be a very rewarding viewing experience. I just love Lovecraft, and this was a movie that managed to capture both the eeriness and the grotesqueness of the entire mythology. It was great.
So do me a favor and get the out of my sight, okay? No, actually, I'll save you the trouble and get the out of yours.
Number 6, The Creepshow Animated Special. This was exclusive to Shudder, and it was sort of a spin-off of the Creepshow TV show that they've been doing. It followed 2 stories, one written by Stephen King, which was absolutely just, oh my god, the most disgusting, horrible, nightmarish situation. If I'm ever in that place, just kill me, please, and get it over with. Oh my god, no. The second story was written by Joe Hill, and it was a much more comedic, very fun story, although it did suffer from some choice dialogue.
I'll invite a certain hot goth girl chick to the pool party in April so he can see her in her tacky bikini, even though I don't like her.
I really enjoyed the animation style of this special. It reminded me very much of a moving comic, and it brought back a lot of that old school Creepshow flavor that I just love to see. I think that Creepshow is moving in a great direction by turning itself into a full franchise like this. It's really exciting, and I hope to see a lot more Creepshow stuff in 2021.
Hello, Twitterverse. I am Blake, and Blake is me. What am I doing?
Number 5, The Cleansing Hour. Hi, okay. We're on the back of the chair now. Hi. I mentioned in my list of the worst movies for the year that I often treat horror movies that take social media as their main focus with a little bit of suspicion, because I find that they can often represent this very boomerish mentality about social media, where it doesn't really reflect the reality of it. It's just kind of being afraid of this new thing that kids are doing and how it's gonna affect the youth and all of that. Obviously, the internet is gonna turn us all into homicidal maniacs.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes. It was fun.
The Cleansing Hour does take a little bit of a social media approach because it follows this priest, exorcist, Chris Angel guy. I don't know what he technically counts as. But anyway, his job is that he performs exorcism basically on YouTube. It's all streamed online. And the exorcisms that he performs are obviously fake. There is no danger to his actual person until he comes across a real demon, and everything just goes to hell from there. It's the rare exorcism movie that actually gets me. I think that you kind of need to believe in demons in order to be scared by these movies a lot of the time. But that being said, there are the exceptions, and this was definitely one of them. It was just such a nightmarish situation, and it was represented so well that you felt how much he needed to escape from this situation and how absolutely terrifying it all was. I just really enjoyed the entire movie, and I would definitely recommend checking it out.
Go on, Maxie. Lie to them again.
Number 4, 1BR. Hey, if you wanted a movie about cults, 2020 gave us a really creepy movie about cults, you guys. I feel like I can't say too much about this movie without spoiling. All that I can say is that it does follow this woman as she's slowly initiated into this cult situation. And the way that it tracks the brainwashing and how it isn't a slow process, how it all starts with her as a normal, well-adjusted woman to see her transform through the course of the movie. Again, I'm not gonna say what happens, but regardless, it's just such an interesting story to see. So yeah, the next time that you wanted to show your friends how absolutely terrifying cults are, definitely give this one a watch.
Please, I just want to go home.
Decision.
Number 3, Mortuary Collection. Yay, Clancy Brown!
And we cannot die!
I don't know, I really enjoyed him in this role. In my full review that I gave of this movie, I did make fun of his makeup a little bit. I said that it looked a lot like a mask, and it does, but regardless, I think that Clancy Brown has the charisma to be able to act through something like that.
You are not hired yet, young lady.
The individual stories themselves were all thoroughly enjoyable to me. I don't think that there was one that I didn't like. It's weird, it's disturbing, it's messed up, and it is funny.
Every corpse tells a story.
Number 2, the Creepshow Holiday Special. Out of all of the movies on this list, this is the one that I can see myself watching the most often. Like every Yule from now on, I am definitely gonna be popping on this weird cat girl furry fantasy. Like, why is this special? Why? Why the hippopotamus?
My inner animal is a hippopotamus. That's what I want to be.
Why Fabio 2020? I don't know, but either way, I'm not gonna question a good thing. This was insane. I needed something insane this year. Thank you, Creepshow.
I have a leash and a king-sized bed.
Before we get into the first movie, let's go over some honorary mentions.
Don't be afraid.
You guys knew she had to die so we could mix the bloods.
She have to die all over this carpet. Shag absorbs everything. My uncle's gonna kill me.
Number 1, Scare Me. The reason why I'm putting this movie so high on the list is partly because I enjoy this movie on a slightly unique level. I am a writer. This movie follows 2 writers on a writing retreat talking about different story ideas. As much as this might be considered something of an anthology, it isn't in the sense of something like Creepshow, where you're visually seeing these stories being acted out by actors representing those characters specifically. Rather, you're watching our 2 writers physically embody their characters in order to better get the story across. It was a huge risk for them to tell the story in this way, and I found that it paid off greatly. It came across as unique and weird, and they were able to use editing and special effects in creative ways that better told the story visually. What basically starts out as my dream vacation slowly turns into something absolutely insane and terrifying. But the way that it ends is extremely fitting. All in all, I took no issue with this movie, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone.
You seem like a fella who might be interested in some scary stories.
And you seem correct.
As much as 2020 definitely wasn't the year that we were all hoping that it would be,
I am never gonna financially recover from this.
it did turn out a couple of decent movies, and I guess that's something to be happy about. Yay. But no, in all seriousness, as tough as this year has definitely been on a lot of people, I really hope that we can maintain optimism going into this new year that things are going to get better, because that's the only way that things are going to get better, is if we keep our chins up and keep working at this. I believe in us, boils and ghouls. We've got this. But for now, thank you so much for watching, my pets, and I will see you next time.
Ow, son of a...
Although donating to my Patreon is unnecessary, it is hugely appreciated. As little as $3 a month could help me put out many more videos. In that note, I would like to thank Wilson L. Ricks III, Scott Falks, and Andre K. Thank you so much for your support. It means the world to me. I can't wait to see you all next time.